Hey, Jose, how are you doing, buddy?
Good. How are you, Doug?
Good, thank you. Morning, everyone. So, to start off, before I start the actual interview with Jose, I think I just want to give a brief bio on Jose. So, first of all, it's truly my honor to be given the opportunity to interview him. Um, Trust me, this is a very edited resume because it would probably take this entire event or longer to talk about all of his achievements. So Jose is a U.S. Army veteran who, during his service in Kandahar, Afghanistan, was severely injured in an IOD explosion, and this was in March 2012. 10 days later, Jose woke up from a coma and called the fact that his teammates managed to save his life a miracle. I have absolutely zero idea of the amount of physical and emotional pain that Jose must have gone through. So out of respect, I'm not even going to attempt to talk about this period, other than to say Jose lost both his legs, his right arm, fingers on his left arm, and some of his internal organs in the blast. Recovering from that and desperate to cast off any suicidal thoughts, a growing opioid addiction, and subsequent damage to his nervous system as a result of the heavy medication, Jose gave up painkillers and tried out surf therapy at the Naval Medical Center in San Diego. Jose now is dominating the surfing scene and has the privilege of representing his country again, this time through Team USA Surfing. And if you think about it, from 2012 to now, to be representing your country in surfing is a phenomenal achievement. So Jose, I know that you are very humble, but let's kick off with a bit of a brag session. So perhaps if you could tell us a bit about your surfing achievements, and perhaps some of the other things that you've done, like some of these summits that you've done.
Absolutely. I just want to start off with the doctors were actually signing my death certificate right before I woke up. My brother kept telling him that I was too retarded to die, so just make sure to keep him there. And the doctors were like, I don't know, man. I don't think he's gonna make it. And then out of nowhere, I just woke up. So
Oh,
throw that
this
in there.
place is a better place with you in it. So thanks,
Yeah, just
thanks for
just
checking
trying
it
to
out.
scare the doctors and the family and friends. But I actually just started surfing 2 years ago competitively. I I got into a bit of a funk. As you guys can see in here, I'm a cannabis enthusiast. So after I threw my opiate pills away, what helped me stay and keep my body peaceful was because I actually decided to medicate with cannabis. So I decided to switch everything from opiate pills to cannabis, and I've actually been pill free for the last 7 years. So I was in the hospital for a year and a half recovering, and right after I left the hospital, I threw all my pills away and just decided to never ever look at them or take them ever again. So I've been actually been pill free. I'm supposed to be on testosterone as well. I don't take any of that. So anybody that tells me, "Oh, I got this problem with me or this problem with me," I can literally just get naked and show you that those problems don't really exist. They only exist in the mind. Um,
Good
some
for
of the
you.
achievements that I've had. Right before this Corona hit, I became third in the world at the ISA International Surf Competition. I I didn't even think that I was going to be able to make it to Team USA because at nationals I was supposed to be in first place in order for me to go into the competition for nationals. I mean for the ISA. But they did it a little bit different this year, so I actually got to represent Team USA all over again, and it was completely awesome. Um, to be honest with you, the first competition I ever surfed in, I actually broke a board. I broke two boards actually, one on the second day and one on the third day. And I actually didn't even place. I cried myself home. I remember the feeling, but I remember telling myself I need to stay there to cheer for everybody else because I need to make sure that no matter what, I have my stable mind. Like whether I lose, whether I win, like I still have to be there to cheer everybody else on because I realized at that point that it wasn't just about me. It was about everybody, bringing a community together, making sure that all of us are able to feel free. You know,
Mm.
I've never felt as free as I've ever had after my accident being there. So I felt like I was part of something, you know, and I made sure that even though I lost, I made sure I stayed there clapping for everybody, cheering for everybody. And I actually told myself the next year that I was going to be on the podium and winning something, you know, an award or something like that. And actually, the next year came around for Oceanside, and I ended up coming in second place for assisted division. And I actually got the Jay Leisner Award for being the most stoked. So that's probably the biggest achievement that I've gotten is the most stoked award. Uh, I just have a lot of fun, to be honest with you. I wasn't supposed to be alive. I'm not supposed to be alive right now. So the reason why I'm always smiling and yelling is because I'm doing something that the world never thought I could do, and I'm doing something that I actually personally never thought I can do as well. So
Yeah.
that's the reason why I'm always yelling.
Well, that's what amazes me because I've watched you in the water, and if you don't surf to the best of your ability, I can see you get cross within yourself, but you're still so stoked at the same time that you're just in the water and loving it. So it's just as another competitor, it's so awesome to see that you've got both sides of that so dialed in.
To be honest with you, I don't bring talent to the table. I bring hard work, and I know that eventually hard work will overtake talent, and that's where I'm at right now. I got this one competitor that's always been in my name, and he's number one. He's been number
Yeah.
one forever, and I'm trying to get right there with him, you know, and I want to do it properly. So I want to make sure that I'm outworking everybody else that's competing against me, you know. And when I do see that I could have done something better, I don't ever smack the water because you cannot beat the water. So don't do one of these to the water because the water's gonna beat you up next time you're in there. So, so I try
Absolutely.
to stay humble, and not only that, it's not just for me, but for my competitors around me. If I feel like if someone would actually beat me fair and square, and everything's perfect for them, I cannot go to the beach and feel sad. I got to make sure that I show them and I tell them they did amazing, you know,
Yeah.
and that's the biggest key factor for me, at least. Even being out in the water when we're competing is I tell everybody good luck. I make sure that they're safe. And, you know, there's one time for my first competition, one of my helpers in the water, it was in Oceanside. I don't know if you remember in 2018 when we were there, it was really, really big that day. For whatever reason, they still decided to throw out the adaptive surfers. So we went out, and one of my helpers, we didn't know he had, I personally didn't know he had asthma, and we went under, and another wave came and another wave came, and when we popped up, he was choking out, and he's like, all right, okay, look, get back on the board. I'm like, no, bro, not Rich. On the board, like, we'll help you out. And I was just there waiting until he got better. So there's things like that. Competition brings out the best of us, but I want to make sure that it doesn't bring the bad in us as well, you know? So, and that's the big key factor for me as well, though, that I always want to show that to everybody that
Mm.
I've been mistreated a lot. So why not just show smiles? Why not just show happiness? You know,
Yeah,
you see, perfect.
it's infectious on the beach. You can see it. I mean, you can see how everyone looks up to you and respects you. And I mean, it's your whole demeanor and your attitude about being a competitor. And that I wish a lot more competitors were so humble, but also so competitive at the same time. It's an amazing combination. So tell us about the first time you got into the ocean. How was that?
The first time I got in after my accident, I actually have never surfed in my life before my accident. So that's why I say I don't bring talent, I bring hard work. Just because I've never got the feeling of standing up on a board. I've never even boogie board, to be honest with you. So the first time I went out, I'll never forget it. It was Betty took me out with Darren, and if I'm correct, it was Amanda, which is a big helper that we have in Hawaii right now. So every time I see her, it's like, "Hey, what's up, best friend?" Um, So I remember them taking me out, and it was a big giant board. It looked like I was on a huge boat. And
Tanker.
I remember it was the smallest wave in the world, now that I recall it, because now I'm taking bigger waves. But to me, it was one of the biggest waves I've ever taken, and just that adrenaline. I could compare it to, I used to ride motorcycles when I was younger. I had an R6, and I would do a lot of wheelies and stoppies and a lot of crazy things. Um, I probably will describe that same feeling, if not a bit better. Sometimes it feels like a free fall from a wave. The I can't really explain it, to be honest with you. It's something that I really, really look forward to every single time I'm on the water. It's kind of like my drug now.
Yeah, for all of us, I agree with you completely. It keeps you sane and keeps you on a
Oh, it
straight.
keeps me humble, to be honest with you. After going to war and surviving a blast that they told me, the blast was a 60-pound IED. So the blast was actually meant for a vehicle. It wasn't meant for a human. And sometimes you need the water to humble you. Sometimes you need the world to humble you. And I feel like every single time I'm in the water, I don't have a reason to feel like I'm a million stories tall. You know,
Yeah,
I love to feel like an ant, because then it always reminds me and puts my world into perspective of how much I need to make sure the rest of us around us are just as good as I am. You
mm.
know, and that's probably the biggest key factor for me.
I find that if I paddle out with an arrogant attitude, or I can surf well type of attitude, I find that I get humiliated so quickly, and just brought down to size by the ocean. So it does that.
Yeah, just FYI, if you're surfing around me and you're arrogant and you're not paying attention, I'll humble you real quick.
I
I'm
love it.
fast.
I love it.
Trust
So
me, it's happened before where I'm looking at my friends, like, because what we do when we're in the water, it's kind of like a treadmill. So we'll make sure that the next person goes. Like, if I catch a wave, then I'll make sure the next five people go in front of me, because
yeah,
that's the way
that's,
I was taught,
yeah,
you know. And when
and
I
that's
see people out there, I'm like, don't be arrogant around me. I'll give you two tries. On the third one, I'll actually jump in
I
there.
wish that was a standard surf lesson for everyone. Just that sharing and
Well,
sharing and
that
respect.
comes from Joe, my pusher. He's
Yeah,
been fishing all his life, and I promise you, he's yelled at me. He's almost kicked me before, because I would paddle back into where the surfers were actually catching their break.
yeah,
I'm like, oh, I'm not supposed to be here. So he's taught me so much, and I pick up so quick that I know what not to do and what I should do. So
yeah.
I try to make sense of that as well. Even though I am in the position that I am, I only have one arm to paddle. So I try to keep that even more in mind, because I got to stroke a little bit faster in order to get to where I want
To
to.
get it. I understood. So on that note, I mean, I've watched you at some of the ASL contests, especially that ASL contest we had at Huntington. I think it was 2 years ago at Huntington Beach, where those waves were pretty big and they were round. They were scary waves. So, do you have any other safety equipment besides your leash, your board, and your wetsuit to help you if you have a heavy wipeout to get back to the surface? Because it must be tough.
One thing about me is I surf. I mean, I swim a lot, and I work
Okay.
out a lot for the same reason, because I only have one arm, and I don't. When we're competing out there and when we're doing stuff, I don't ever want to hinder one of my other competitors. So I try to make sure that when I do wipe out and stuff like that, that I have the greatest ability to get back up. Or I know if I will need help ASAP, I'll try to at least give the tap on the head saying I need help, or whatever it is that we need. I just I I try so hard that sometimes I mean, I've been in 10-foot waves before with no problem.
Nice.
That's
But
something, just because I in the first competition I had a guy that was helping me that had asthma, and he was needing help. You know,
yeah,
I don't know what I'll need to do at the time, but because I've been to war, I know how to prepare myself for just life. The doctor told me after I woke up, the reason why I probably stayed intact and I was still alive, or being able to wake up again, was because of how strong my body was up until that point. I used to run 20 miles a day. I used to ruck with 100 pounds for 5 to 10,
Yeah.
15 miles sometimes a day. I I always place myself knowing that at any given time, my life can be taken or it can be try to be taken away from me. So I treat the water the same way with respect, just like I treat life. I try to be the best at myself. I do a lot of ab workouts. Before they shut down my gyms, I was going to the gym every single day because I don't know when my next competition will be. So when it is ready to come up, I want to make sure that I'm always ready for the same reason that every time I hit the water, I try to be ready. So the best thing I
That's
could
why.
tell anybody that's trying to do this properly, I always suggest to swim and to at least work out. I mean, Quinn works out with me. She invites me to the gym and then smokes me. So this is something that we're continuously making sure that we're good at, because we don't want to hurt ourselves. At the same time, we don't want to hurt anybody around us that can be helping us, because if we're not paying attention, if we're not listening to our help, there's been times where I see a big wave coming and all I hear is jump off. And I'm like, wait, what? And then I jump off. I'm like, oh, that's what he meant. So it's a lot of listening. It's a lot of making sure that you're personally okay. Like I said, we're always working out. We're trying to be better
Yeah.
for ourselves. So I think that's the biggest key factor is making sure you're in shape for it.
Mm. And if you're not in shape, you're putting other people's lives at risk because
Yes.
they're going to have to
And
come help you. So
yeah, you
yeah.
can hurt some. Think about it. I have a 10-foot leash. If I'm not paying attention to what's going on and I don't tell my helper, they can get smacked with the board and then they could really get hurt if it hits them on the top of the head or anything like that. Gracefully, we've been so good with everybody that I have a big mouth. So I'm able to yell at everybody like, hey, I need help, or hey, I got it, or. It works out well in the water. So it's helpful.
Good. And I just want to. I don't think. Yeah, this is the Santa Claus contest we had. I think this
Yeah, this
slide
is
that's up now.
in Pismo.
Dana, can you go back one slide? I just want to talk. Can you go back to the one with 2 slides back? Is that possible? I guess not. So I just wanted to show everyone
Are they
that
going back?
No, I wanted you just to, if you could go back 2 slides. I just wanted to talk about that. Yeah, okay, so stop on that. So that fancy little red outfit that Jose's wearing, that's not a life vest or anything. That's his Santa Claus outfit. I just had to save you because people are going to start asking, what is that funny thing you're wearing?
What about my beautiful elf hat?
No, not you. That's so we had a Santa Claus contest and everyone had to dress up as Santa Claus. So that's the elf, and I think it's Santa Claus looking at him saying,
Yeah, we
We're
drove
doing it again this year for anyone that wants to join us, Quinn.
Yeah, last year we did from LA to Pismo. That was awesome.
Yeah, that was an absolutely amazing event. It was great fun. So we'll do, yeah, like Dana said, we're doing again this year. So we need as many people as possible. So just moving up, we've spoken about your progression from being a grommet to a world-class athlete. What are some of the best waves that you've surfed?
To date, I think my best wave that I've surfed was during coronavirus at at Cap Pendleton at Churches. It actually picked up to 10 feet
Oh, wow.
about 3-4 weeks ago when that big swell came in, and it was beautiful. And guess what? I had all my friends out there, so we were having fun. So it's Churches is a nice long right, and if you can pick it up right at the point, you can go all the way to the parking lot. And nobody really knows this, but the reason why I went from third to second in 2018 to 2019 is because right before one of the big competitions, Joe decided to take me out there, and I felt the reef at the bottom, all the cobblestones and all of that. I actually hit the bottom twice or 3 times, and Joe goes, all right, now you know what that feels like. Now make sure you catch the wave. So right after that, I started figuring out why. What I was doing is I was actually catching the wave, and I was trying to turn when I was too deep. And I kept realizing that I was rolling in the bottom of the wave. And I'm like, why does this keep happening? Why? And Joe finally took me out to churches. And that's when I understood that I have to pivot a little bit right before I actually hit the bottom to actually make the top turn. So it's little things like that Joe has been pushing me to different breaks. I started off surfing at Del Mar Beach Break. Surfed La Jolla right before all of ISA during winter time. I think it got up to 8 feet. I think maybe it was pushing 10 feet during the winter time, and that's what I was practicing on as well at La Jolla Shores. And I actually got to surf at Sandy's last year when we went for the competition. It was just body surfing, but if anybody's been to Sandy's in Hawaii, they know it's an actual 10-foot beach break. So you have a triple amputee getting shoved by his pusher. And then the lifeguard comes and he goes, all right, I know he's really good, but that's going to be super like bad if something goes wrong. All right. So we ended up coming out just because of the the lifeguards out there telling us, hey, that's too much. But I try to enjoy different things. Even when I was in Hawaii, I was actually jumping off the cliff. And I heard stories of me after that, hey, there's a guy with one hand just being thrown off because I was actually having the locals like grab me because it was my brother, Joe, and Darren. So they were taking me to the top of the little cliff. And then the locals, because they're so much bigger, they're like, hey, we can toss them out. They just grabbed me and just threw me off.
Yeah. I see you do some crazy things also, like I was stalking you on Facebook, like you do archery, you still do some shooting.
Because I hunt and I live in California, people like to open up their mouth and say, I bet you if you give that guy a bow and an arrow, he wouldn't hit anything. So guess what? I already took out a turkey with my bow and arrow, and I think I'm an amputee that did it. So yeah, I'm always trying different things. I don't like to hear that you can't do something. Even to the point where me driving, if you give me a regular car, as long as it's not stick shift, I'll drive it. I don't have any controls in my car, in my truck, in my car, anything. I literally just hop in and just take off.
So just the contest that I've seen you surfing, and we've briefly spoken about it, is without a doubt you're the most stoked surfer. I mean, I remember when you won the Stoked Surfer Award at Huntington also. You deserve that so much. So what is it that drives you and makes you stay positive with your surfing?
You know what? I'm actually trying to do something in this world. So there's a lot of people that are life coaches and motivational speakers, but they really haven't achieved anything besides being a life coach or a motivational speaker. I have not only came from the ghetto, I survived gang wars. I've survived drugs. I've survived all kinds of things. And I also gone to war. I've stepped on the bomb and I actually lived as well after that. But that wasn't enough for me. So my thought process is I have to become somebody in order for me to be able to help others in their life. And that was a big key factor for me. It wasn't more of, because I could tell people what they should do, what they shouldn't do, what direction they should go in. But I feel like they would actually listen to me more if I have some achievements behind me. You know, the greatest thing that I've ever done before joining the military, I was a college dropout. That's all I can say. I was a college dropout that didn't go into gangs and didn't care about drugs. But that's nothing to me, you know. I grew up in Compton. I know that I can help out a lot of people because unlike therapists, because I've never actually gone through a therapist, because for one reason and one sole reason, no matter what that therapist has something to say, they have never been through the struggles that I've ever been through. As a matter of fact, most therapists that I've actually known have had a silver spoon. And most of the therapists that I know actually take prescription pills because they think there's something actually wrong with them. Guess what? I don't do any of that. So I'm actually trying to help people the proper way and show them that they have the ability to become someone greater. So that's always my drive and the reason why I continue to smile, because I'm a triple amputee. I have a lot of reasons why to be mad. I have a lot of reasons why I should be crying at home. I have a lot of reasons why I should say, man, fuck all this world. I shouldn't be here, and I should just take my life. But it's not like that. To be honest with you, I have more fun struggling because I know I'm struggling to become somebody, to do something. And that's the beauty of life for me personally. Every single time that I was running, every single time that I'm swimming, and I'm always thinking about how much more can I push my body. And to think about it, I don't really see it. I see a lot of people that have full bodies and yet decide not to do anything with it.
What?
So much drive is because I'm actually trying to do something, not just for myself anymore.
Yeah.
I'm actually trying to do something for the world. And as you guys can see, there's so much pain in the world right now. There's so much hatred going on. And guess what? I'm still staying positive. I'm still happy. In my world right here, everything is still okay because I personally have done everything in my life to make sure that when I go, I'm happy. I make sure that every single person that walks into my life, I treat them the way I want to be treated, with respect as a human.
Yeah.
And that's the way I keep walking around this earth, and that makes me feel really good because I know that I've done everything in my power to make sure that everyone around me is happy, and I continue to do that. Look at all the people in this smiley.
Well, I think what came through so clearly in your bio and just you talking, it's not about yourself, it's about other people. Like when you said you survived the blast, it was your teammates that got you through it, and like now it's about you helping.
No, if it wasn't for all the prayers, if it wasn't for them being hopeful, I don't think I would be here, to be honest with you. No one believed that I was going to die. No one, because of the same way that I am right here, I was over there. I wasn't out there trying to kill somebody. I was out there trying to help. We're humanitarians. When I went into the military, my ultimate goal was become a Green Beret, and Green Berets are humanitarians. That means that they establish a lifestyle and they try to help those around them. And that's what I ultimately wanted to do, to be a humanitarian. And I think I'm doing that in a different way.
Yeah, I agree with you completely. Listen, I told everyone we could go on for hours and hours, and I'm getting messages from Dana saying we've got to wrap it up. So I'm sorry, we've got to wrap it up, Jose, but I mean, I would love to do a follow-up sometime. So listen, my friend, thank you. We really appreciate your service, and you're truly an inspiration. You're a hero. And I know on behalf of all the AmpSurf team, we're really humbled to have you as a guest speaker. So thanks a million.
I just want to say thank you guys for having me. Thank you guys for listening. I appreciate you guys. For whatever reason, if you want to get in contact with me, I'm always available through my Instagram. It's OneGuru1. So OneGuru1. And the reason why I have this, to be honest with you, is because a lot of people help. I help a lot of people out. I do motivational speaking for kids in high school and even for teachers and stuff like that. And a lot of them feel more safe and secure sending me a message through there. And I've gotten messages saying their parents beating them up, of them not feeling good, like all kinds of different things. So I speak a lot for everybody. And I just want to make sure if you guys want to get in contact with me, you can find me on Instagram on OneGuru1. Quinn's always tagging me. Doug, everybody always knows out here. So I appreciate you.
After once we close off, maybe just put it on the chat.
Yeah, I'll put it on here. Like I said, appreciate you guys. I hope you guys are staying mentally stable during this crazy, crazy times. But just know that you don't have to be listening to the crazy shit that's out there. As long as this is fine and as long as your heart is in the right place, continue to smile and continue to keep doing what you guys are doing. Absolutely love you guys for always helping us out. And I can't thank you guys enough. You guys make a difference in our lives every single day. And thank you from the bottom of my heart.
We thank you, brother. Thank you. Okay, Dana, over to you.
Okay, thanks, Doug. Hey, Jose, we love you, brother. And that was a great interview. I know